there, I'm going live again, and as you guys know, if you're a man over 50 carrying stubborn belly fat and you want to get rid of it, but you think the solution is starving yourself on a low-calorie diet, I want you to stop. Stop destroying your physiology, because that's actually what's going to happen. And this is again for men who want to work smarter, not harder, by tapping into their biological levers that are already built into the human body. And I know for those of you who think, well, Janina, but I'm so sick, or I'm so old, or I'm so overweight, it's not going to work for me. No, that's not true. It doesn't matter, guys, what condition your human body is in right now. Your body hasn't given up on you. And it doesn't matter how many organs you might be missing, those biological levers are still inside of you, waiting to be pulled on. And how do I know that? Because I have clients who come to see me and they've already had their gallbladder removed or their appendix removed, and they still get results, because when you know how to tap into those levers, things can change dramatically. And today I'm going to give you the 3-step map to strip off the belly fat using those metabolic levers, without wrecking your thyroid, without locking up your testosterone, or without eating like a rabbit. And you'll see why I talk about this testosterone in a moment. But here's what happened. I ended up seeing somebody that I know who's very, very successful. He's a multi-millionaire. And he admitted that his wife had given him that look. And I know that you guys that are married know what that look is, when the wife sees you with your shirt off and you know that you've let yourself go. So the one that changed his trajectory, in other words, he decided, okay, so I am going to go ahead and fix this. And this man has unlimited resources. And so he decides to take care of the belly fat problem, but he falls for a lot of misinformation that I know that you guys are seeing and hearing all over the internet. And instead of applying leverage to a situation, he's made it more difficult for himself. He's going to cause himself some issues, even though he's going to look good doing it. And as a matter of fact, he posted, I think it was a 30-day follow-up to say, hey, look at me before, look at me now. But the problem isn't how he looks. The problem is what's going on the inside, that he doesn't know the error of his ways yet. And why is that? Because this guy is either in his very late 30s or very early 40s. And it's not until after the age of 50 and 60 do you guys start to see that you've been making mistakes. They don't rear their ugly head until you get past the age of 60. And that's why I love that I wear my gray hair naturally, to prove to you guys I've lived long enough to see what those mistakes are. And I come from a family of athletes who had great bodies to know that it's not only based on what you look like on the outside. So let's go back to this multimillionaire. I know him personally, so I know that he also spent $100,000 for a business coach to help him with his business. And this man has access to whatever he could want. And because he has so much money, it was sad for him to see that he's following the wrong information, because he posted that he is on a 1,300 calorie diet to get rid of his gut. And that is wrong, guys. And here's what I hated about seeing his post, is that you got all those people who do keto congratulating him and telling him how great he looks and, yeah, keep doing it. And guys, keto is the wrong thing to do, because that's just another fad diet. Mark my words, 10 years from now, we'll be looking back on the keto days and saying, yeah, remember keto. Just like now, I'm 62, I can look back at the Atkins diet. I can look back at the cabbage soup diet. I can look back at all these diets. And by the way, all of them worked. All diets work, though, until they don't anymore. Someday, this guy is going to want to go out to dinner, have some drinks with his friends, eat some really good food, and then he's going to feel like he fell off the wagon, and he's going to feel disgusted about himself. And you know, you guys all know the trajectory, and then he's going to say, well, now I have to get back on the wagon again. That's no way to live. That means you're not losing weight the right way. But here's the key. Weight is not the key performance indicator. And if you've seen any of my videos before, I taught you in the last video that you really need to measure your waistline. That's where you need to go. And if you haven't seen that video, go into my profile, or if you are on YouTube, you can take a look at my previous videos and I teach you what the key performance indicator is. But let's talk again back to this low-calorie diet stupidity. And I call it stupidity because here I am making this video in 2026 and we have multi-millionaire intelligent men falling for the low-calorie scam, or the low-calorie misinformation is what I'll call it. But you know what? I don't blame him entirely, because here's the problem. The system is actually rigged with a lot of bad data out there. And now you guys are bombarded by it on the internet, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you get your information from. It's all over the place. And I know that you guys know I'm reviewing this book by Dr. Josh Axe. He talks about low calorie also in this book. And if you've seen my previous video on that, I think I mentioned page 35 is where he mentions that. And when you have doctors spewing out old, outdated, archaic information on how to lose weight, it's no surprise that you have very wealthy, intelligent men going down the wrong path. But anybody who's pushing a calorie-centric math issue on you as a mechanism for fat loss, you're barking up the wrong tree. So what I'd like you guys to understand, that if you drop your calories down low, like this guy, he chose to go on a 1,300 calorie diet. But I don't care how low you go. If you go lower than you normally eat, you're not going to burn fat. Your body's not going to say, oh, let's burn the belly fat now that he's eating less. No, your body's going to actually, number one, sense starvation. So it's going to down-regulate your thyroid gland. And that's going to spike a stress hormone called cortisol. And that's going to end up leaving you soft, exhausted, and metabolically crippled, which I'll go into. But here's what I want you to understand, the difference between me and the masses, the way I operate compared to them. I am not a diet coach. I am not a trainer. Trainers and coaches try to get you guys to do things that you hate, or that you guys need to put willpower in, or that you guys need to force the issue. And that's no way to burn off belly fat. That means who's ever making you do things that you don't want to do, it's because they're doing it the wrong way. They're not tapping into the God-given gears that are in your body that are just waiting for you to tap into, to use leverage in order to burn off the belly fat. So here's where I'm going to go into 3 things that you need to do instead of a low-calorie diet. Number 1, I want you guys to stop floating useless synthetic supplements into your bloodstream that are just going to end up in your toilet bowl. Make sure also to tune in next week, because I'm going to show you guys the exact signs to look for in your toilet that are going to prove that you're literally flushing thousands of dollars of expensive vitamins down the drain. I've literally had clients that have spent $1,200 a month on high-end supplements because they think the more money that they spent, the better the result. And they didn't get those results, by the way. Now, number 2, I want you to lower your stress hormone. That is cortisol. I know that sounds easier said than done, because a lot of you guys, if you're still working, you might be under stress, or maybe you're not working and you're retired and you have stress because of family issues, or who knows, whatever it is. If you don't lower your stress hormone, what's going to happen is your liver is going to dump blood sugar into your body. When that happens, it's a fight or flight response. It's normal for our bodies to do that for our survival. But what happens when you have stress and it's between the ears, there's no tiger that you're running from. So this sugar is just running through your body, no matter how low of a calorie situation you've got going on. When cortisol shows up, it's going to lock your fat stores away. So the fat storage in your gut is going to be padlocked. You're not going to get to it. And there's why people who go on low-calorie diets and are unsuccessful, they feel exhausted and tired, but they're still not losing weight. It's because of the cortisol. So how do you fix that problem? The easiest way is actually to take a walk. And I know I've said this before in previous videos, that you can take a 10-minute walk before you eat dinner. Then take a 10-minute walk after you eat dinner. And I know that sounds super simple, and you'll say, well, Janina, how can that work? It's just 10 minutes. Don't I have to go to the gym and work out, or don't I have to do cardio? No. 10-minute walk can do a lot for you because you're utilizing the largest muscles that you have, the butt muscles and the thigh muscles. If you guys will do that, you're off and running. Now, I know some of you might say, hey, Janina, but it's really hot. I have some clients that are in the heat dome area. And because my clients' average age is 72, some of them get a little afraid when the heat rises too much and they don't want to have their heart palpitate. So what do? They can actually do chair squats inside the house. Just pretend like you're going to sit into a chair, do that 5 times. That's it, and you're done. The other thing you can do, get on the floor and then get back up. For a lot of my clients who start out at 300 and some pounds, that's a lot of work to get off the floor once you're down there. And I guarantee you guys, how many of you guys will ever put yourself on the floor to get back up, because you know that's not very easy to do? There's a simple thing you can do to release the cortisol, or actually release the blood sugar and burn through it that your stress hormone has pushed out into you. Number 3, don't fall for low-calorie anything. When you starve yourself on 1,300 calories or whatever you're doing, where you lower the amount of calories you're eating, your body's going to freak out and flood your system with the stress hormone. And like I said earlier, if you have stress because of mental stress, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to lock away the fat storage. But wait, it gets worse. Think of your stress hormone like a pair of iron handcuffs. And those iron handcuffs are going to get slapped onto your testosterone that's in your blood. So it doesn't matter how high of a testosterone level you have. Like when you go to the doctor and they say, well, your testosterone level is 768, and you walk out of there thinking you're the man. Doesn't matter. If that testosterone is handcuffed, then it's useless. It's not going to allow you to build muscle. So there's another problem. When your testosterone level is locked in and can't be utilized, you're going to lose muscle. And when you lose muscle, that's going to also have an effect on you. And that's not a good effect. And when you lose muscle, you're going to lose weight. That's why I don't want you guys focused on weight, because you don't want to lose muscle. You want to burn belly fat. So hopefully this light bulb moment, hopefully it sparked in you, will make you think twice about falling for a keto diet, cabbage soup diet. I don't care, whatever diet. Don't fall for those, because what you're going to do is end up becoming metabolically soft, and that's not what any man that I know wants to have. So here's what I'm going to bring out to you, the bro math, and this is about protein. I don't want you guys falling for the stupidity of what they would say as in how many grams of protein you need to eat based on how many pounds you weigh. That is what I call gym bro math. Don't fall for that. Here's the easy way to know how much protein you should be eating, and that is based on how you feel. So I don't know how many of you remember back, I think it was in the 1970s, they used to say that you would eat based on the palm size of your hand for protein. If you take a look at my palm is not very big. I can eat an entire ribeye steak without a problem. That is definitely not the size of my palm, but that's what they used to say in the 70s and the 80s. Again, misinformation. What should you guys be doing? You guys should be eating until your body tells you that you're full when it comes to eating protein. That's very different than saying, here's a bag of Lay's potato chips, eat those until you're full. Well, you're never going to get full on Lay's potato chips. Why? Because, like the commercial says, you can't eat just one. When it comes to protein, though, that's a different story. If I put you in front of 5 ribeye steaks and I said, eat them all, I guarantee you wouldn't be able to do it, because your body's not stupid. Your body would tell you exactly when it's had enough protein and you would feel full. So that's the idea. So let me give you another example. I'm a small person. I will eat 3, maybe 4 eggs at a time. And I know for some of you think, well, wait, aren't we just supposed to eat 2? Well, that comes from the stupidity of, I think, the 80s, when they started making eggs the villain of cholesterol and saying that they cause heart attacks. That's not true. That's misinformation. And again, I'm not going to get on my big pharma stance, but that's a whole nother conversation. When it comes down to it, guys, you guys need protein, natural protein from eggs, fish, seafood, stuff like that. You eat foods that have natural protein, natural fat within the protein, you're going to feel full and satiated. Then that way you don't feel like going out and snacking 2 hours later because you're on this quote unquote low calorie diet. So when it comes to what I'm teaching you guys today, I want you guys to understand that you guys have the ability to burn off belly fat, but you're not going to do it successfully if you keep following all the misinformation that I continually see out on the internet. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video, because I'm going to give you more tips every Tuesday. And comment below if you have a question that you want me to go over in the future, and if you think that there's someone that can benefit from this video, make sure to share it with them. And like or follow based on whatever platform you're watching me on now. So take care, guys, and I'll see you on the